Alright, good evening everybody. Commission Ace Coach 704, PEL, Primetime Elite League. This is the weekly live show. And tonight we're going to talk about a lot of good stuff going on in the league. We'll go through division races, an early look. Division races, we'll look at some stat leaders throughout the league. We'll talk about incentives for articles, which is something I'm way behind on. And hopefully I can find the document and post it in the chat when I get to that segment and talk about it. And we'll review games that have been played. Looks like we had a couple games played possibly this week. And then we'll look at the games from last week as well and kind of go through those. And then that will pretty much be it, but we're going to take some time to go through all those things. So first and foremost, obviously let's switch over to our games that have been played this week, and then we'll talk about games from last week. So, well, hell, one game. Someone tried to play 6 times. What the hell? Damn. Well, I'll talk about my game then. A tale of two halves. The second week in a row I've been in a game like that. The Jags defeat us 28-20. It's our first loss on the season, and we absolutely deserve to lose. We played terrible, especially in the first half. Not a lot I can say besides that. As far as the first half goes, you see the scores there. Woke up third quarter, found some things on offense. Defense played better. We just ran out of time, to be honest with you. You see the yardage there. The yardage is pretty even, but we had 3 turnovers that killed us. That was really in the first half. We had a fumble returned for a touchdown on a kickoff after we gave up a touchdown on defense. So, we got in a 14-0 hole, and then offensively we threw an interception. And was it 2 interceptions? Yeah, we had 2 interceptions. So, but did well in the red zone, especially in the second half. Time of possession's about the same. Player stat wise, Foles had an efficient game, 9 of 14 for 142. Had to throw it more with Cam in the second half to get back in it. And like last week, he got hot, 15 of 24, 220 and 2 touchdowns. Did have the 2 picks though. Running the ball, Fournette had a good game. A lot of off-tackle runs, 106 yards. McCaffrey was shut down. Offensive line really didn't get going. Cam got loose for a touchdown run. In the red zone on 4th down, receiving-wise, Westbrook was the leading receiver for the game with 81 in the touch. DJ Moore had a nice catch run for a touchdown. Torrey Smith got loose for a touch, and then Ware had a touchdown as well out of the backfield. And then defensively, of course, Telvin Smith had a couple sacks. Jack doing a lot of man press. And you got 92, 98 press corners. You can do that and not worry about getting beat the way this game has been playing. So Smith had a big game with 2.5 sacks. And then I think Ramsey and Berry had the interceptions. Graham Gano did not have a good game in the rain. He missed a 53-yard field goal. Missed an extra point, so that's 4 points off the board, but really wouldn't have made much of a difference. And then that's pretty much it for that game. Jags are a talented team. They're more talented than us, but they go to 4-1, and we fall to 4-1. The only game played so far this week. Let's see, looks like the Bears and Raiders are playing now, and I'm hoping the Cards and the Bengals are playing now too. 6 times. Highlight games from last week. This looks like a good game. Falcons-Titans. Falcons shootout, 40-35 over the Titans. A lot of passing yards in this game. 4 turnovers for the Titans, obviously the big difference there. Player stat wise, both quarterbacks had huge yardage games. Freeman with a big game on the ground for 123 and 3 touches. God almighty, Julio Jones and Corey Davis, huge games. Receiving wise, and then defensively, not a lot. Well, Wesley Woodyard had a nice game with 4 sacks. Landry with 2. There's some of that man blitz stuff that I'm sure we're seeing. 6 sacks from the linebackers, so that's the in vogue thing to do. Who would have thought man coverage in Madden would be back? But entertaining game there nonetheless. Let's see here. And then our game was entertaining. We had a slow first half once again, woke up second half, came back to win 27-24. You see we dominated the yardage, but really just, had some stuff not go our way early on, and, the Texans took advantage, woke up second half, was able to make a game of it and pull it out. Cam went for 305, good passing game, really got hot in the second half. Lamar Miller had a really nice game running the football. Receiving wise, Samuel had 100, Dez Bryant woke up and had 100 and a touch. And then defensive standouts, Merciless had a couple sacks, Addison had a couple sacks, and then Cole that was a pick six for Dylan Cole, so he had a good game on that. Let's see here. Detroit winning over Kansas City 38-29. What a wild fourth quarter. Good Lord. Definitely a lot of passing yards for the Chiefs there, trying to get back in it. But look at these turnovers. Good Lord, guys. 7 turnovers for the Chiefs, 4 for the Lions. That's a lot. Patrick Mahomes, 7 interceptions. What in the world, man? That is crazy. Matt Stafford, a little more efficient, 4 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Kerryon Johnson with a nice game on the ground. Receiving wise, Tyreek Hill, Marvin Jones, both over 100, big gains for them. And defensive standouts, we're looking through here, a couple of sacks, a couple picks for Coleman and Fuller. I'm sure the Lions have a ton of interceptions there they can be excited about. Let's see here. That was a good game. Cardinals, Seahawks. Cardinals pull it out 27-21. Pretty evenly played game on both sides there. You always like to see that. Kyler Murray with a decent game right there. Russell Wilson, 3 touchdown passes. Interceptions, turnovers, always a big difference. David Johnson, nice game on the ground, 91 yards. And receiving, Jerron Brown, 8 for 89 and a touch. That's a nice game right there. And defensively, see who stood out. There's a few sacks, a couple interceptions. And we have a pick 6. There we do. Jordan Hicks, good job. Nice play for them. That might have been a different 6-point win. Good job. And anytime you play the Bears, 14-10. It's going to be a dogfight. They make it ugly. Minnesota was able to pull out and get the win in a good NFC North battle right there. Kirk Cousins, pretty good game right there. A couple interceptions, though. Dalvin Cook, nice game on the ground, 12 for 96. Treadwell, 9 for 137. Good numbers from a couple Minnesota players. Someone with 3 sacks. And guess who? Khalil Mack with 3. Leonard Floyd with 2. Bears getting in on that blitz and stuff. And then everyone gets an interception. No pick sixes, though. All right. Good game right there. Rare defensive struggle. Dallas pulls it out over the Saints, 24-21. Good game right here. Pretty evenly played game. Numbers look pretty even. Turnovers look pretty even. Drew Brees with a good game, 241. I see Reggie throwing the ball a little more. He didn't usually throw it that much. Interesting. Ezekiel Elliott, huge game running the ball, 20 for 176. Big Cowboys offensive line getting it done. Pretty decent receiving numbers there for Cook. And defensive standouts, Marcus Lawrence with 2.5 sacks. Nice game for him. Xavier Woods, 59 yards. That's a pick 6 for him. Good job. Nice win for the Cowboys. And last game we'll look at, this Bengals-Steelers game, pretty good game. Bengals pulled out 25-17. Looks like a nice little fourth quarter comeback there for the Bengals. Let's take a look at the stats here. Pretty decent passing for both quarterbacks right there. Pretty similar numbers. Decent running game. Wow, there's Mr. John Ross. Alright, y'all. Y'all know how Tristan is with his speed receivers. Y'all gonna have to damn zero in on his ass when you play him. Defensive standouts. Let's see what we got. A couple sacks there. Yeah, Jordan Evans with a couple interceptions. Middle linebacker. There we go. 1 touchdown for Jordan Evans. Alright. There you you go. Tristan was talking about he couldn't figure out user and he's bullshit lying. Always sandbagging that dude. Alright. So anyways, those are games that have been played so far. Let's take a look at the division races, see who's on top right now. And we got some good races going on. AFC North. We got the Browns at 3-1, Bengals 2-2, Steelers 2-2, and Ravens 1-3. Obviously, it's really early. Of course, a lot of this stuff can flip over, but looking at this division, this is a pretty even division all the way out. I think everyone's pretty much on the same level here right now. It's going to be a good race all the way through the end to the playoffs. AFC South, Titans 3-1, Jags 4-1, Texans 1-3, and the Colts 0-4. I really do think it's a two-team race between the Titans and the Jaguars. After playing the Jags, I think they're very talented. Of course, we know that coming in. When you have corners like these guys have, and with man coverage being a lot improved, it's a perfect formula for having success on defense. And then the Titans having their first loss to the Falcons, that was a close game. I really think it's going to come down to those two guys. Of course, we got Lee. You can always have a tough game. But being 1-3, it's kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit with those two guys having such a good start right there. All right, in AFC East, you got the Bills 3-1, Jets 2-1, Pats 1-3, Dolphins 1-3. Obviously, the Dolphins are a team that's open right now. Someone asked me in the chat, we have the Dolphins and the Broncos open. If you know someone interested in wanting to join the league, just reach out to me, let me know, and we'll get them set up. But with the way this is looking, two-team race between the Jets and the Bills. I don't know if they've played yet or not. We'll have to check that later on in the season, but I think it's a two-team race. I think the Patriots obviously have good talent, but they had a tough game the other night. So stiff competition here in the AFC East. Good to see. AFC West, we got the Raiders at 3-2, Chargers 3-1, Chiefs 1-3, Broncos 0-4. Broncos are the other open team right now. It's going to be a little bit of a building situation, obviously kind of starting in the hole a little bit. And then with the Chargers and the Raiders, of course, Deontay is always pretty good. And then the Raiders right here have come in and had a good start as well. The Chiefs with their talent, you never can count them out. So I still say it's a 3-team race right now. But obviously the Chiefs got to shore some things up on defense if they want to get in, the discussion with the Raiders and the Chargers right now. Jumping over to the NFC in the North, we got the Packers 4-0, Vikings 3-1, Lions 1-3, and the Bears 2-3. You look at the point differential for the Bears. Obviously, that tells you they've been in all of their games. A losing record, but a positive point differential like that is pretty rare. So you can't count them out of the race. Of course, Ramon's off to a good start, and the Vikings, are off to a good start as well. Lions are new. They came in and won their first game, so I really think this division is wide open right now. Can't really count anyone out, in my opinion. All right, in the South, you got me at 4-1, Bucks 3-1, Saints 2-2, and the Falcons 2-2. This is probably the best division in the league. Everyone with a positive point differential. Off to a pretty good start. The Falcons are new, and they came in and they beat the Titans, who are undefeated. So, this thing is going to be topsy-turvy all season long here in the South, and I'd put this division up against anyone. And I think we're all going to have gray hairs once this thing is over with, and we'll probably be looking to move to a different team, which we don't do here. But I'm just saying it's going to be fun, but everyone's going to be in it till week 17, that's for sure. And it wouldn't surprise me to see a division winner and both wild cards coming from this division. That's how good it is, in my opinion. NFC East, you got the Redskins at 4-0, Cowboys 3-1, Eagles 2-2, and the Giants 0-4. We'll have a new Giants hopefully in tomorrow or sometime this week. I talked to him earlier this week, so that team will not be open much longer. But for the Redskins, off to a good start. The Cowboys off to a good start as well. Eagles, are hanging in there at 2-2, so it's a 3-team race right now. But of course, I like Rag Job. He's been through the wars. He's been a very good player, throughout the years of the PEL. So I like him, but Will's off to a good start. Beat the Saints, which is a good win. So good race there in the NFC East. And then finally, NFC West, you got the Seahawks 3-1, Cardinals 2-2, the Rams 0-4, and the 49ers 0-3. Right now, I think the Cardinals just beat the Seahawks. So, I think it's a two-team race. And even, let's see, with the records in this division, even at 0-4 and 0-3, you can still turn it around and make a run if you make some adjustments and get hot. So, I don't think anyone's out of it right here. I expect this to come down to week 17 as well. So, in the whole AFC, you see the breakdown right there. Some of the top teams. And then in the NFC, I'll tell you, man, my early look, I think the NFC is much tougher right now. I mean, you got some really strong players over here. Some guys that have 2-2 records that are very good players. And, the top of it is really, really strong in the NFC. AFC, I think the Titans, Jags, Browns, Bills, Chargers, I think that's the cream of the crop right now. So I think AFC is strong as well, but a little more top heavy than the NFC. NFC has a lot of depth in it. And it's really, really good to see that kind of parity. One of the things about the PEL is it's always been a really strong league for sim gameplay, and we have some really good, smart players in here. And this year's no exception, and I'm proud of that. That's one of the things we hang our hat on here. That's one of the things that's made us an elite league the last 2 years through Daddy Leagues. And while I'm on that, I'm going to jump to the news tab, and I want to talk about incentives a little bit. So here in the PEL, we have something we call incentives, and the incentives are based around articles. So on Daddy Leagues, there's a place where if you go to front office tab and then click on post blog, you can post a blog. And what I do is at the end of the season, I count how many blogs you've posted. And if you reach a certain number of blogs that have posted, you get an incentive. And I'll post that document later on once I find it. But the minimum's 5 blogs. If you post 5 blogs in a season, which is very easy to do, we'll clear your salary cap at the end of the season. So before you go into resign, we'll clear your salary cap. That's just in a way of saying thank you for being active, and that helps us. That helps our presence on Daddy Leagues and helps us win the awards that we win every year. So if you do 10, you get a cleared salary cap and 1 development upgrade. I think 15, you get cleared salary cap, 2 development upgrades, and then if you do 20, you get 3 development upgrades, cleared salary cap. The other thing we do is we have a thing called league rolls. So last year we had a guy that did predictions every week, and he'd stream them in this format and posted them, and everybody loved, seeing who he thought was going to win games and his commentary on that. So if you do a league roll like that, you'll get a 20 article upgrade. So it'd be the same as posting 20 articles. So you don't have to post 20 articles. You can take on a league role like I said, a league, what did I say? League predictor, I think is what it was called. We had someone that was in charge of social media, posting things on the Twitter and things like that. We had a guy, actually it was the Titans last year, that started doing interviews, every week of the game of the week, which was pretty cool to see. So if there's something you want to do for the league on a regular basis, let me know. And if you fulfill that role, then you'll get that, same level as a 20 article upgrade going into the off season. So that's something we do. That's just, it says thank you for being active. There's a lot of leagues that, throw a lot of rules on you and say you can't do this, can't do that. Then they don't give you anything. So, for me, the experience it's on me to provide you a good experience. And that's why we have a lot of same repeat guys here, because they enjoy that. And, that's one of the things I believe in, is providing all of our users a great experience no matter what. So just keep that in mind. If you need to get set up on Daddy Leagues, send me a DM and we'll get you set up. And that way you can start posting articles and being active and all those good things. All right. So let's jump to the draft class. So if you are watching, you're going to get to see some free looks at some draft guys. I've scouted a few. But just my quick thoughts on the draft class right now. Of course, quarterbacks got 4 round 1 picks. And this is just an auto-generated draft class. I didn't do my draft guys this year. We're going to see how this first draft class goes. And then if we don't like the draft class overall, then I'll, do like I did last year. We'll have the draft stories we add in, and we'll see if we can figure out who's good and who's a bust, and, all those good things. But 4 first-round projected QBs right there. Of course, obviously, I hadn't scouted those yet, but we might, depending on what we're going to do with Cam down the road. Halfbacks got 4 first-round running backs right there, different types. Not a bad running back class right there. And, of course, fullback we really don't need to worry about. Receivers, you got a couple right there. Not a really strong receiving class, in my opinion. So, you need a receiver, think about free agency. Or, in the off-season, once we get to the off-season, trades will open up in stage 1 of free agency. So, keep that in mind. You can negotiate trades now if you would like, but keep in mind, if you're negotiating it with a free agent, he may not be there. So you can keep those conversations private, but that's something you can start thinking about when you're planning for the off season. A lot of vertical threat tight ends in this draft class. If you need a tight end, I think you'll have a couple options right there, it looks like, to go get one. Offensive line, I don't think are that great. You only see a couple first-round tackles there, 1 first-round guard, a couple centers that may be pretty good, 1 guard right there, a couple guards there, and maybe a couple tackles. DN, you got some guys there that may be pretty good. Just depends on what kind of scheme you're going to run. Not much in the D tackle position. Linebackers, not much there in this class in my opinion. Maybe some sleepers down in toward the end, but we'll see. Corners, decent class. You got to see the numbers on those guys. And then free safety and strong safety, not really much there. So keep that in mind when you're looking at your draft class. See who's good, kind of plan your team. Where you're going to fill holes in free agency, where you're going to try to trade for. Speaking of trades, we turn trades off in year 1 here because this year I want to see who's dedicated. Of course, last year we only had a couple guys that came in that were new, made some dumb trades, tried to fix those, but it was too late. So this year, first year, no trades. And then, of course, we get off season to year 1. I won't have any trade rules this year. So you can go crazy. Well, the only rule is you can't have more than 2 first-round picks. And we'll talk about that more when we get to the off season, but something to keep in mind. Okay. Let's take a look at some stat leaders right now in the league. Player stats. All right. So we got passing leaders: Patrick Mahomes, Baker Mayfield, Andrew Luck, Matt Ryan, Josh Allen. Good job, guys. That's according to passing yardage right there. Of course, passer rating we always look at as well. Real sign of an effective quarterback. Mayfield number 1, Ryan number 2, Winston 3, Big Ben number 4, Drew Brees number 5. Good job. Rushing yards: Ezekiel Elliott number 1, McCaffrey number 2, Zach Crowell number 3, Devontae Freeman number 4, Dalvin Cook number 5. Good job, guys. And leading receivers, this is by yardage. Jarvis Landry, John Ross, we talked about him during the recap. T.Y. Hilton, Julio Jones, and Isaiah McKenzie. That damn Kendall boy, he always finds some nobody and turns him into a star. That's crazy. How good is Isaiah? Look, 75 overall. He's a star? Has anyone heard of Isaiah McKenzie besides our Browns guy who's affiliated with Georgia? Boy, I tell you, that's something else. Alright, defensive standouts. Leading tackler Brandon Marshall, Vontae David, Bobby Wagner, Kayvon Webster, Devin White. Sack leaders. Oh, look at that. Khalil Mack with 9 sacks already. Good Lord. Wesley Woodyard with 8. Marcus Lawrence 7. Aaron Donald 5.5. Interception leaders. Marshawn Lattimore with 4. Josh Jones at 4. Jordan Evans 4. User linebacker right there for the Bengals. I bet you he's fast. I bet you. God damn, what I tell you. 68 overall. Ain't that some shit? Remember, we have a long-standing rule with linebackers. You only have up to 9 interceptions with linebackers. You get the 10, that's a warning. 11 starts the suspensions. 1 game suspension for each pick over 10 that you get with a linebacker, keeping stats in line with the real NFL. Okay, so no one else is really close on that right now, but just mentioning that in case we do get down, into the season and you guys start getting that number up there. I don't want to see you lose anyone and say you didn't know. All right, so we try to keep this to about 30 minutes. I only see one comment on here. We usually have some more. I didn't really, promote the show that much today, but them surprising boys. It's not surprising, man. The Cowboys are a good team. And you've become a very, good player, starting from last year and going into this season. So, not that big of a surprise. I hope you give the Redskins a good push over there in the NFC East. All right, so that's the live show. Something we did last year called PEL Storylines. I don't know if I have time to do that this year, but I used to write a little thing where we would have storylines throughout the league. Just a little fun thing we used to do with players and things like that. Maybe after football season I can pick that up, but right now we'll have the live show once a week. And I can't tell you what day it's going to be. It just depends on when I'm free. But for those that don't know, I run a high school website here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Covers high school football. We have some really good players here. And it takes up a lot of time. I used to work for a different site, and I just started my own, so stay pretty busy. But it's exciting. It's fun, but it takes up some time from Madden. So luckily I have some good commissions. If you don't know who the commissions are, the Buccaneers are a commish. Heavy. Frank is his real name. Lee, the Texans is a commish. The Ravens, Cody is a commission, and myself. So if you have ideas for the league, please let us know. We'll be glad to help. We'll be glad to listen. Anything you think that can make the league a little better. I'm always open to ideas and suggestions. The biggest thing is we are a sim gameplay league. If you feel like someone's not playing the right way, send us a DM. We don't call out people in the chat. This is a very adult group, a very mature group. We don't have kids in here. We don't have a lot of childishness. And we've had success because of that. So we like to keep things going that way. Main thing is have a good time, play your games, have some fun. A little smack talk's okay. But never take it over the edge. And if you do, we don't put up with that. We have a lot of people that like to be in a good sim league, and that's what we try to be. So I want to thank everyone for watching. Thank you for getting your games in, doing a great job. Remember, we got the Dolphins open, we got the Broncos open. If you have suggestions for guys that can fit this league, please let me know. Looking forward to seeing everyone out here on the field in the PEL. See you next week, guys. Thanks for watching.